Welcome back. It's that time of year where students are returning to school. For college students, especially those freshmen, this is seen by many as an exciting time. You're most likely acclimating to a new schedule, maybe a different crowd, and you're exploring that newfound sense of adulthood. But experts say for these students, the months of August to November also come with a risk. They call this period the red zone.
A man is accused of groping a woman on UK's campus and assaulting two officers.
Investigators say the assault happened at an off-campus housing community.
So tonight, two former Wayne State students have been charged with first-degree sexual assault.
3 separate incidents have been reported to campus police in just 1 week, including 2 alleged rapes.
The Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, or RAIN, is the country's largest nonprofit anti-sexual assault organization. RAIN defines the red zone as the time between the start of the fall semester and Thanksgiving break on college campuses when sexual violence is most prevalent. RAIN found that more than half of college sexual assaults fall in this period.
And we are lucky enough to have RAIN's Chief of Staff, Casey Shoup, with us this morning. Thank you so much for taking the time to meet with us. And what an important conversation to have as you just heard, we're in the thick of that red zone right now. Let's begin here with that first question. Who is in that vulnerable group? Who should be most concerned here?
That's a great question, and thank you for having me, Claire.
Absolutely.
We see a couple of factors that influence this time of year. We have an influx of new students who are coming to campus, and so we see freshmen and people who are transferring in sophomore through senior years to be at particular risk.
Now, the first thing that I thought of when I read that it was from August to November was, why these months? What is happening during that time that puts these students at a greater risk?
Yeah, great question. Complicated answer, but we do know that there are some important risk factors that are worth mentioning. As I said, a bunch of new kids who are coming into school. We have a false sense of safety and security in a new environment. We also see, a lack of resources, a lack of routine, and kids are really transitioning here. And we know that perpetrators are aware of this and will use this time to manipulate and harm their victims.
And something else you had mentioned, not just yourself, but RAIN's website, this is also a time where we see an increase in alcohol overconsumption cases. Talk about that. Why are we also seeing that during this time?
Yeah, great question. Alcohol is the #1 substance for drug-facilitated sexual assault, so it's definitely something that's worth talking about. We see, kids coming and they're transitioning into their adult lives and experiencing new things and trying new things, and it can be a dangerous time.
Absolutely. And finally, for someone listening to this here, what are resources that are available, especially for those who are recently affected by this? Maybe they don't know where to go.
Yeah, absolutely. RAIN's National Sexual Assault Hotline is an anonymous service for anybody who's been impacted by sexual violence. We would point you to, there's local sexual assault resource centers across the country that are doing a wonderful job in supporting people. So looking both on campus and off campus for those.
Absolutely. Anything else that you would like to add this morning? Anything else you think is important for people to know?
I think it's always important to remember that rape is never the victim's fault. It is always the fault of the perpetrator, and to victims, you're not alone.
Absolutely. Hey, RAIN's Chief of Staff, Casey Shoup, joining us this morning. Thank you so much. Here is their information on your screen right now. You can follow them on their website or at the social media that you see here. And speaking of resources, I want to bring your attention here to the screen. This is a resource that you can use. This is RAIN's website. It's very user-friendly. If you enter in either a state or a zip code here, if we can see it close enough, it pops up in yellow all the locations that you can use if you have questions, if you're struggling, if you just want to know what to do. This is a great resource to use. I entered centers.rain.org.
And maybe some tough